Hi, and thank you for joining me for this Karma Yoga session. My name is Megan, and I will be offering a 60-minute Vinyasa flow sequence this afternoon. This class will presume a basic level of familiarity with Vinyasa flow yoga and some of the more familiar postures. We will work into the core, into the hamstrings, and into the back for some strengthening, stretching, and opening in those areas. This will be a great sequence if you practice a lot of running, a lot of cycling, or even if you spend a lot of time sitting in a chair or in a car to help you loosen up those areas where you may accumulate tension and tightness. Thank you for coming to practice with me this afternoon. And let's go ahead and get started in a comfortable seated position. You can sit cross-legged, or you may sit back on your knees as you like. You may rest your hands on your knees or down at your sides. And you may have your eyes open or in a soft gaze, or you may have them all the way closed. And as you begin to settle in to your comfortable seat, arriving in your practice space, begin to notice your breath. Drawing the breath in through the nose and releasing your breath out through the nose. Maybe starting to drag it across your palate, introducing a quality of Ujjayi, ocean breath. Maybe feeling a little catch at the end of your inhale before beginning to exhale. And feeling your sits bones rooting down into the ground, lifting the crown of your head up towards the sky for a long, straight spine, stacking shoulders over hips and noticing how your body feels today. If you have an intention for today's practice or anywhere you would like to direct your energy, focus on that, on your inhale and exhale, sending that energy out into the universe. And we'll take another inhale through the nose and an exhale through the nose, maintaining that even, easy breathing throughout the practice. And on your next exhale, linking the eyes open if you had them closed, and coming up into tabletop to begin today's flow. And in tabletop, the hands should be shoulders distance apart, hands stacked with your elbows above them and your shoulders stacked above your elbows, knees hip distance apart with the hips stacked directly over the knees. And let's take a few rounds of cat-cow breathing. On your inhale, dropping belly towards the earth and lifting your crown of your head towards the sky. And on the exhale, arching your back like an angry Halloween cat and dropping your crown of the head towards the ground. Introducing some fluidity into the spine, depending on what you've been doing in your day so far. Maybe waking up, maybe working out some stiffness or some soreness from some activity you've been engaging in. Inhaling cow. Exhaling into cat. Coming back to neutral, let's wake up the core with a little bit of bird dog. Lifting the right arm straight out from the shoulder to 12 o'clock, and the left leg straight back from the left hip to 6 o'clock. Holding here, maintaining that easy breath in through the nose and out through the nose as we awaken those core muscles. Turning the fingers on the forward hand down towards the ground, reaching forward as if you were going to shake someone's hand. And reaching through the heel as if you were to step on the wall behind you. And setting it down, switching sides. Lifting the left arm forward and the right foot back. Feeling like the limbs are raised. Coming out of your heart. Reaching forward and reaching back like a tug of war in opposite directions. Feeling the warmth build in your abdominal muscles and keeping those hip points pointed down towards the earth rather than opening out to the side. And a deep inhale through the nose and exhale through the nose and setting it all back down. Stepping the right foot back into plank and the left foot, and we'll take a plank hold here to continue building some of that fiery tapas in the core. The wrists just underneath the elbows and underneath the shoulders, with the crease of your wrist parallel to the top narrow edge of your yoga mat. And firing through those quadricep muscles. Legs are strong and engaged as you hold plank pose. Keeping your lower abdominals engaged. Making sure the hips don't drop down too low or stick up too high, but instead form a straight line of energy from the crown of your head through the backs of your heels. Inhale through the nose, exhale through the nose, and sitting down on your knees, pulling back into child's pose for a moment to let that settle and let it integrate. You can have the knees wide towards the sides of your yoga mat, or knees can be together in your child's pose, reaching the fingers forward, planting the fingertips into the earth and pulling the hips back, forehead down to the mat. And from here, planting the toes, balls of the feet, and pushing the hips back into downward facing dog. Maybe your first downward facing dog of the day. If you need to take some movement to shake off some cobwebs, to walk your dog right and left, bending one knee and straightening the other. Take a few moments to take whatever motion feels like it serves you. And when you're ready, come back to stillness and feel your body settle into the pose, pushing the floor away from you, wrapping your bicep muscles and tricep muscles down towards the mat, broadening the shoulder blades back across your back to pull the shoulders down away from the ears and create space. And reaching backwards through your heels towards the mat. Feeling the stretch through your hamstring. And we'll take some Surya Namaskar A, Sun Salutation A. On your inhale, stepping forward to the top of your mat, feet together. Inhale, halfway lift, hands to fingertips or to the shins, back flat, crown of your head forward. Exhale, forward fold, hands towards the earth, crown of the head towards the floor. And inhale, swooping the arms all the way up overhead into prayer position and bringing them to heart center. Inhale, arms up to the sky, and exhale, fold all the way forward with a flat back. Inhale, halfway lift, and exhale, step back into plank, and lower down through chaturanga. Inhale, up dog or baby cobra, and exhale, pulling back into downward facing dog. And just a reminder, this is your practice. Always feel free to skip a vinyasa, to take child's pose, to take chaturanga with the knees on the floor, to do whatever serves your practice today. On an inhale, pulling the hips back and pushing the floor away. And exhale, stepping forward to the front of the mat, another Surya Namaskar A. Inhale, Uttanasana. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, root the feet down to rise up towards the sky. And exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale, arms up overhead, and exhale, fold forward towards the earth. Inhale, halfway lift, and exhale, step back into plank through the chaturanga, or straight back into downward facing dog. And taking a round of breath, and we'll take one more, Sun A. Inhale, pulling the hips back. Exhale, stepping forward. Inhale, halfway lift, and exhale, fold forward. Inhale, root to rise. Exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale, arms up overhead, and exhale, swan dive down to the earth. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, stepping back into plank, modeling the knees down, chaturanga. And on your inhale, up dog or baby cobra. And exhale, pulling the hips back into downward facing dog. And taking a breath to clear that away. We'll continue with a few rounds of Surya Namaskar B, Sun Salutation B, to continue building heat and warmth in those muscles. Inhaling, pulling the hips back towards the back of the mat, and exhaling, stepping or floating forward to the front of the mat, feet together. Inhale up into chair pose. The feet parallel to each other, touching hips. Dropping down as if you were seated in a chair. Those shoulder blades broadening across the back. Turning the pinkies down towards the floor to wrap the triceps down, creating space around the ears and the neck. Inhale, stand all the way up, hands to heart center. Inhale, swoop the arms up overhead, and exhale, fold forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, step back into plank and lower down through chaturanga. Inhale, up dog or cobra, and exhale, downward facing dog. On your next inhale, right foot steps forward into warrior one. Up for just a moment on the inhale. And on the exhale, hands frame the forward foot and stepping back into plank through the vinyasa or pulling straight back to downward dog. Inhale, left foot steps. Inhale, arms up into warrior one. And exhale, hands to the earth. Stepping back into plank and moving through the vinyasa or straight back into downward facing dog. Inhale through the nose and exhale through the nose. And we take another sun salutation B, pulling the hips back. On the exhale, step or float forward. Inhale up into chair pose. Breathing as you sink the hips down. Keeping the knees and the hips in line. Exhale, stand all the way up, hands to heart center in Tadasana. Inhale, arms up overhead. And exhale, fold forward to the earth. Inhale, halfway lift, and exhale, step back into plank. Lower through chaturanga. Inhale, up dog or cobra, and exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, right foot steps into warrior one. One breath per movement. Inhale up, and exhale to frame the foot. Step back through chaturanga. Inhale, up dog or cobra. And exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, left foot steps. Inhale into warrior one. Exhale, back down to the earth. And stepping back into plank. Lowering down into chaturanga. Inhale, up dog or cobra. And exhale, downward facing dog. And then inhale through the nose. Exhale through the nose. And we take one more sun salutation B. Inhale, pull the hips back. Exhale, step or float forward. Inhale into chair pose. Dropping your seat towards parallel to the earth. Feeling your strong legs supporting you. Exhaling, stand all the way up. Inhale, swoop the arms up overhead, and exhale, fold all the way forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, step back into plank and lower through chaturanga. Inhale, up dog or cobra, and exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, right foot steps. Coming up into warrior one for just a moment. Exhale, arms down, hands framing the foot. And stepping back into plank, lowering down through the vinyasa. And we meet in down dog. Left foot steps forward. Inhale up into warrior one. And exhaling down to the earth. Stepping back into plank, lowering through chaturanga. Inhale, down dog or cobra. And exhale, downward facing dog. And take an inhale through the nose. And an exhale through the mouth. Lion's breath, flow away. Let it all go. Forgetting what what you've just done and not anticipating what is to come. Staying present for yourself in this practice today. On your inhale, right foot steps forward, coming up into crescent pose. Your right knee should stack right above the right ankle, and you're up on the left toes, left ball of the foot behind you. Your frontal hip points pointing forward to the front of your space so that the hips are not opening to the side. And the back leg can be bent to help keep the pelvic bowl tilted up so you can knit your ribs down and in. And on your inhale, collect your hands into heart center. And we take crescent twist. Left elbow to the outside of the right knee. If it serves you here to drop the back knee and take crescent twist on the knee, please do so. If you like to take the option of opening the arms towards the sky and towards the floor, do so. And no matter what option you're taking, stretch the crown of the head forward to the front of your space to maintain a long, straight spine as you breathe into this twist. Breathing into the back body. Deep inhale through the nose. And on the exhale, bring your arms back to heart center if you were taking the option. And lift the knee up from the floor if you were in that option. Untwist back into crescent pose. On the inhale, load the weight into the right front foot, and on the exhale, step up into warrior three, strong balancing pose. With your arms, you may reach towards the floor or a set of blocks to bring the floor closer to you if you like. You may hold hands to heart center or run the arms back along the sides. Whatever option serves your practice today. Rotating the left hip point towards the earth. And contracting the quadricep on that right standing leg for stability. Pointing those left toes back towards the back wall and breathing as you balance. On your next inhale, setting it back down into crescent pose, and from here, spinning the back foot flat at a 45-degree angle, straightening the front leg and reaching forward with a flat back and folding down over the front right leg, hands framing the right foot on the earth for pyramid pose. A forward fold with a lovely hamstring stretch, bringing the head below the heart to down regulate some of the energy that may have crept in during those strong poses. Keeping your right hip hitting in towards the midline of your body. Folding your forehead towards your knee or your calf or wherever it goes today. And breathing in to the stretch. And on your next inhale, step the left foot forward to meet the right. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. And step back into plank. Lower down through the Vinyasa or pull straight back to downward facing dog. And we meet in dog. Left foot steps forward. Arms swoop up overhead into crescent pose. Again, ensuring the knee is stacked directly above the left ankle on your forward leg. And up on the balls of the toes on the right foot behind you. Bending that knee as necessary to keep the pelvic bowl tilted forward instead of down. And pulling those shoulder blades low and broad across the back to create space around the neck where we so easily pull up when we feel tension or stress. And on your next inhale, gathering the hands to heart center and taking crescent twist to the left. If you took a variation on the right side, it may serve you to take the same variation on the left side, whether that's dropping the knee towards the earth, whether it's opening the arms. Either way, lengthening the spine on each inhale and exhaling into the twist. Breathing into the back body as the lungs are compressed in this twisting pose. Feeling a rinse from the top of the spine to the bottom. And on your exhale, bringing the hands to heart center and untwisting back up into crescent. Inhaling, preparing to step up into warrior three. And reaching out into this challenging balancing posture. Thinking about a steady gazing point to help you maintain your focus. Keeping that right hip turning down towards the ground. Maybe finding that reaching towards the earth or those blocks serves you at this point in the practice. And continuing to breathe through the nose. And on your next inhale, setting it back down into crescent. Spinning the back foot flat to a 45-degree angle, straightening the front leg, and reaching the arms forward as you fold with a flat back until parallel with the ground. Dropping the hands towards the earth or to those blocks that are nearby, and folding forward over the front leg. Enjoying that stretch along the hamstring of the left leg. Maybe noticing if it feels a little different from the first downward dog at the beginning of the practice. And breathing, noticing what may be coming up in your mind, acknowledging it, and letting it go. And on your next inhale, stepping the right foot forward to meet the left. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Step back into plank and lower through the vinyasa, or straight back into downward facing dog. We meet in down dog, and maybe it serves to take a child's pose for a moment here to let all that settle and to reconnect with the earth. And as you're ready, coming back up into downward facing dog. Stepping the right foot forward into warrior one. Holding here for a moment. And in warrior one, just as with crescent pose, the front knee stacks neatly above the front ankle, not going over the toes and not tracking in or outside of the foot. The back foot is angled at a 45-degree angle to give that hip some space to open up towards the top left corner of your mat. And the shoulder blades again are broad and low across the back. On your next inhale, open up into warrior two. And your left foot continues to be at that 45-degree angle. Opening into that hip where maybe you've felt a little tightness from some of the activities of day-to-day life. Gazing out over the right hand, reaching out with the left hand, both arms extending out from your heart. On an inhale, flip your right palm to face the ceiling and revolve your warrior, reaching that right arm back over the crown of your head towards the back of your space. Left hand sliding down the left leg, maybe the thigh, maybe the calf. Reaching the hand back, maybe towards where the ceiling and the top of the wall meet in your space. Feeling a deep side stretch. And inhaling, pulling back up into warrior two. And from warrior two, reaching forward with that right arm towards the earth, into side angle. And maybe that elbow rests on the right leg. And the left arm reaches out towards where the wall and the ceiling meet, this time at the front of your space. Crown of the head stretching forward, feeling an unbroken line of energy from your left fingertips to the left foot, left heel. Making sure all four corners of that left foot stay flat on the earth. Inhale with the left arm, pulling back up into warrior two. Straighten the front leg. You may shorten your step as you like. Reaching forward with the right arm into triangle pose, Trikonasana. Again, perhaps pulling that block to you to bring the floor up. Perhaps with the right hand on the right shin, reaching with the right hand towards the earth and opening your chest to the left side of your space and the left hand up towards the sky. Keeping the right hip pulling in towards the midline and contracting the quadriceps on both legs for stability, drawing the heels towards each other. And breathing. On the inhale, pulling back up into warrior two just for a beat. Windmilling the arms forward to frame the right foot. Stepping back into plank and lowering down through the chaturanga. into up dog or cobra, and exhaling back into downward facing dog. An inhale through the nose and an exhale through the nose, and left foot steps forward, floating up into warrior one on the left side. Again, aware of where the knee is in relation to the ankle, to avoid putting too much stress or strain on the knees that work so hard for us every day. And the right foot is at a 45-degree angle. Ribs knitting down, and the shoulder blades pulling broad and low across the back, pulling those shoulders down out of your ears. And inhaling, opening up into warrior two. Gaze is out over the left fingers, feeling the opening, this time in the right hip. Reaching arms out, feeling your strong legs supporting you, feet ground into the earth. And inhaling, flipping the left palm to face the ceiling, revolving your warrior, left arm reaches back, feeling a deep stretch in the left side body, breathing into the openness on the left side and sliding the right palm down the back right leg. Inhale, pulling back up into warrior two. Continuing, reaching with that left arm to take side angle on the left side. Again, you may reach your left hand down towards the earth or towards a block, or if it serves you today, that left elbow can rest on the left quadricep as you reach the right arm out over the crown of your head, turning the left pinky down towards the earth. And breathing. On your inhale, pulling back up into warrior two. Straightening the front leg, you may shorten your step as you like. And reaching forward, left arm towards the calf or a block or the ground. Right arm towards the sky. Twisting the chest open to the left side of your space. Pinning that left hip back towards the midline. Contracting those legs and drawing the heels towards each other. Feeling the stability of this pose. And breathing in through the nose and out through the nose. And on your inhale, pulling back up into warrior two just for a beat. Windmilling the arms down to frame the left foot. And stepping back into plank. Lowering down through the vinyasa or pulling straight back into downward facing dog. Inhale through the nose and exhale through the mouth, clearing it all away. On your inhale, step forward to the front of your mat, feet together, and swoop your arms all the way up overhead, hands to heart center, standing in Tadasana. And from here we take eagle pose, wrapping the right elbow under the left elbow, or giving yourself a hug, sitting the hips down into the chair, and lifting the right leg up and crossing it over the left knee, squeezing the quadriceps together, and with the right foot, wrapping around towards the back of the right calf. Breathing into the joints as you find a steady gazing point, drishti, to help you balance here. And inhaling, unwinding the legs and the arms. Standing for a moment in Tadasana, mountain pose. And continuing with the left side, wrapping the left elbow under the right elbow, or again, giving yourself a hug to open those shoulders, sitting the hips down, lifting the left leg up and over the right leg, and sitting down as you squeeze the thighs together, reaching the left foot to wrap towards the right calf and twisting, rinsing the joints, and balancing with all four corners of the right foot into the earth. And unwinding, swooping the arms up to the sky and bringing them down to heart center. Breath in through the nose and out through the nose. And from here we take tree pose, reaching down, catching your right foot and bringing the foot up to a balancing point on the left leg. It can be on the left thigh or on the left calf, but not pressing against the knee. Hands can be to heart center, or they can reach up overhead. You really want to test your balance, you can try closing your eyes, feeling the left foot rooting into the earth and the energy rising up, coming out through the crown of your head as you balance. And gathering the hands back to heart center and setting the right foot down, lifting the left foot to its balancing point, pressing against the right leg. Again, can be anywhere on that right leg, but not pressing against the right knee. Any arm variation you like with the hands, steady gazing point, or if you wish to test your balance by closing your eyes. Inhaling, maybe swaying as the trees do in the breeze, bending so they don't break. And exhale, setting the foot down, letting it go, and standing in mountain pose Tadasana for a round of breath. In through the nose and out through the nose. And stepping the feet about to the width of your mat. Hands to heart center, we lower into Malasana Yogi Squat. And maybe placing a block underneath your seat to help bring the floor a little closer to you. Maybe the heels come up off of the earth if that is where your body is today. And holding here, or if you wish to take Bakasana, planting the hands into the earth, lifting the knees up high onto your triceps, leaning forward, and lifting the toes, squeezing the core, holding through the fingertips, through the palms of the hands, and setting it back down. And we lower the seat all the way to the floor. And let's touch the core one more time in Navasana, boat pose. Several options in Navasana. The legs can be bent, shins parallel to the floor, Hands holding the backs of the thighs. If you are feeling very spicy today, you can straighten the legs, can keep the hands holding behind the thighs or let them go and reach forward. Just holding for another round of breath. And setting it down. Rolling forward over the legs and lowering down onto the belly for a couple of back strengthening and stretching poses, beginning with Salabhasana locust pose. Options here with the arms include palms flat to the earth, or if your shoulders are feeling open, you can take a bind behind you, or even reach the arms out to the side. But the legs are together, contracting the quadriceps. And on the inhale, lifting the legs and the chest up from the floor. Or maybe just lifting the chest from the floor for today. And remembering to breathe, which can be more challenging on the stomach, breathing into the back body as you squeeze the seat and lowering all the way down, turning your left cheek to flatten on the ground, to face the right side of the room for a brief belly down savasana. Feeling your chest beating, heart beating against the earth, supporting you. And coming back to center, and we'll take bow on the floor, Dhanurasana. And this can be done, we'll take 2 sets. This can be done either one side at a time, reaching the right arm back to catch the left foot. And on the inhale, kicking the right foot into the right hand, up from the ground, feeling the strong quadricep kicking into the leg, feeling the back getting a stretch and building strength. Lowering down, turning the right cheek down to the earth, resting for a moment before second set. And the second set can take the left hand to catch the left foot, or can repeat both sides. And on the inhale, preparing, grabbing the tops of the feet with the hands and kicking the feet into the hands, lifting the chest, kicking the thighs up off of the ground, trying not to let the knees separate too far apart if you're doing both sides at once. Feeling the heat building in the quadriceps and in the seat, and letting it all go. Looking again to the left side, left cheek down. Feeling just a gentle stretch through the neck. And as you're ready, pushing back into your child's pose to release some of that compression from those strong back poses. And coming up to a low lunge on the right side, Anjaneyasana. Hands framing the right foot, knee to the ground, top of the back foot flat to the earth, feeling a stretch through the left hip flexor. And pulling the hips back, flexing the front foot up, Inhale, reaching the crown of the head forward, and exhale, folding forward for Ardha Hanumanasana, half splits. Good hamstring stretch and forward fold to counteract again those back bends. Maybe noticing if this stretch feels different since the pyramid pose that we took earlier in the flow. Breathing into that deep hamstring stretch. And inhale, unfolding, stepping the right knee back to meet the left. And the left knee steps forward into low lunge. Right knee back down to the earth. Left knee stacked over the left ankle. And breathing into a hip flexor stretch. Maybe noticing if the hips feel a little bit more of a release from when we first began. Pulling those hips back so that the hip is stacked above the right knee. Breathing forward, extending the crown of the head and folding over the left leg. Getting that deep hamstring stretch on the left side. Maybe one side of the body is a little different from the other. Not assigning any importance or value to that, but just maybe noticing if that is the case for you. And breathing into the back of the leg. And on the inhale, unfolding, and we'll roll over onto our backs. And from here, taking reclined figure 4, bending the left knee, hips distance apart, bringing the right leg up to cross the right ankle at the left knee. This may be enough of a stretch. If you'd like to take it a little further, you can lift the left foot up off the floor and thread your right hand through that hole created by your shin and your thigh, reaching for maybe the back of the left thigh or the left shin, and drawing the left knee towards you, making sure to keep the right foot flexed to protect the right knee. And breathing into the hip, trying not to contract anywhere or squeeze anywhere. That doesn't need to be directly involved in this stretch. Take an inhale, and on your exhale, unwind this cross and switch out the legs. Crossing left ankle over right knee, maybe threading the hands through to reach for thigh or shin, drawing the right knee towards the chest, flexing that left foot. And breathing, noticing the sensations in your body, noticing anything that might come up in your mind and letting it go. Maybe starting to feel like you're about waist deep in your Savasana. And unwinding, letting that posture go. We take a supine twist, lifting the knees up, 90 degrees, shins parallel to the floor. And either with the legs together like this, or eagle wrapping the legs, right knee over left knee. Reaching the right arm out from the right shoulder, and the left arm out from the left shoulder. Dropping the knees towards the floor on the left side. Looking out over the right shoulder. Feeling one more time the rinse of the spine from the top of your head to the coccyx. And breathing into the twist. And on your inhale, bringing the legs back up to the center. Switching the wrap of the legs, if you have them wrapped. And dropping the knees over to the right, looking out over your left shoulder. Enjoying one more passive twist of the spine. Maybe noticing if the spine feels a little different from the first twist at the beginning of this practice. And maybe you feel like your shoulders deep in your Savasana. On the inhale, bringing the legs back up to center, grabbing maybe the big toes or the outsides of the feet and taking happy baby. Lower back stays on the floor, maybe rocking side to side if you like. And then giving yourself a hug. And lying all the way back into your Savasana. And in your Savasana, the legs relax, the toes fall apart, the arms relax to the earth, palms facing up. Nothing left to hold or squeeze or contract. And maybe you scan your body looking for any place where you might still be gripping or holding, and taking an inhale into that tightness on your exhale, letting it go. Inhaling peace and exhaling stress. Nothing can steal your peace. And starting to deepen the breath again, inviting some movement, maybe wiggling the fingers and the toes, settling back into the physical body. Maybe a nice good morning stretch, reaching the arms above the head and pointing the toes out, waking up. And rolling over to your side to rest in the fetal position for a moment. Using the arms to press yourself back up. And taking a comfortable seated position. Maybe the same as where we began. Take a moment to thank yourself for coming to the practice today, for taking the time to do something so good for yourself. Keeping the light bright within you and keeping the path lit for those who may still be lost in the dark. The light in me acknowledges and honors the light in you. Thank you for sharing your practice with me today, and I hope you have a beautiful rest of your day. Namaste.